Number 5, God gave man a purpose. We learned this from Genesis chapter 2 again. He gave man a purpose before he gave him a wife. And I thought this was a great take from Tavares Gray in his book on dating. And he drew this from Genesis chapter 2, and I think it's a keen observation. In Genesis chapter 2 and verse 15, it says there to remind us, in fact, we didn't read verse 15, but leading up to the verses that we did read, it says, the Lord God placed man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. And this is before Adam knows anything about any clue of Eve, right? So he just puts him in the garden, and it's just Adam and all these animals. And he puts him in there to tend the garden and to name the animals. And so this one animal comes up with a tail, and it's scratching its armpits, and he says, I'm going to call you a monkey. And the next one comes up with a long neck and some big wings and long legs, and he says, you're an ostrich. And while all that's going on, that's when God looks down from heaven and sees that Adam is alone, and there is no partner like unto him. Adam was what? He was exercising dominion over the earth. He was spreading the glory, the knowledge of God through the earth. He was reflecting God's image throughout the earth. He was doing the mission that God appointed unto him, and then God, without even Adam thinking about this, he was just working, man. He was just fulfilling God's mission. That's when God said, he's alone down there. And he give him a mate. And so he made woman, took him out of his rib. That's what was happening. And sometimes, if you're single, there's things that you can do to prepare for marriage. Ask the married people. This is one of those things that you need to ask them to verify. But you can prepare for marriage. And one of the things you can do to prepare for marriage is be getting to the task. If you're not about the Lord's business, Jesus was about his Father's business when he was 12 years old. If you're not about the Lord's business before you're married, it ain't going to get any better after you get married. And your marriage is not going to glorify God any more than your individual life glorifies God. It might satisfy your sexual urges, but you're not going to be glorifying God any more than before you were married. Okay? That's why you need to understand that before you're given a wife, you should be about the purpose that God gave you. And together, that's what optimizes this relationship, is when you have a woman and a man, and both of these people have been about the Father's business before they even got to marry. And then when you put them together, man, that's success. And that's when you are able to optimize the potential that God has given you, because you listen to God's inner calling of loneliness, that feeling he gave you, loneliness, and you listened, but you were working on your mission before you found your wife or your husband. This is how you prepare for marriage, I do believe, biblically.